Okay. Hi, Anza MPS students. I hope you're having a good week. So this is class 3. We're learning about mindfulness, which is bringing our attention to our present moment experience without judging it. And the reason we do that is because we get a stronger attention muscle, and that helps us focus better. We learn to easily move our attention to places that help us. And then also by doing that, we can move it to places that soothe us and calm us when we get over emotional. So, so far we practiced the anchors that we've practiced with, the present moment experiences that we've brought our attention to were gravity. We practiced with the sensation of gravity, the feeling of heaviness. You can use that when you want. We've practiced bringing our attention to our exhale, making it longer, and checking out if there's any deactivation sensation there. And then last week we practiced with the sensation of breathing in and breathing out. We can also practice with positive states. So bringing our attention to positive states like compassion, gratitude, generosity, forgiveness, kindness. Because when we bring our attention to these states, and you probably know this for your own self, they make us feel happier, right? Calmer, more hopeful, right? When we think, oh, people are really kind, we see acts of kindness, we feel better, right? So bringing our attention to these states are important, and especially in life in general, we want to have access to that, but also in these times with this pandemic and all these kind of low-grade worries that are just under the surface, we definitely want to be able to have access to those states and quickly, as quick as possible, so we can feel better soon, so we can bring our attention to them quicker and have and feel better sooner. So wouldn't it be cool if like our emotions were kind of like apps on a phone? So let's say, you know, the front of your phone is all your apps, right? And you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off and it kind of opens the irritated app, right? And so you don't want to feel irritated. It's like, oh, I feel irritated and this, and you say, you know what? I'm just going to open up my gratitude app or my chill app. And then boom, you just feel better. That app opens up and it starts running and you feel better. So it sounds very simple, and that would be very cool if that could happen. But I'm curious what you think. Do you think that we can actually, that is possible, that we can actually move our attention away from one state to another state? So the answer to that is yes, it's possible, and it depends. So it's kind of mixed. So it depends on if we have access to those states. So let's say like gratitude, we want to feel calm, we want to feel gratitude, we want to feel generosity, we want to feel compassion. And I'm sure we all have access. We felt it before. So in that sense, we do have access. So we want to make sure that we've felt it at least a couple of times so we know what it's like. But then we also want to have quick access to it, like how to find it. Like, where do I go to get my gratitude or my compassion? Yeah. So, so let's talk about the access. And I want to do a little experiment first. So if you would all, or you, whoever's watching, close your eyes for a minute. And just bring attention to the inside of your hands, to the palms of your hands. And see what sensations you notice inside the palms of your hands. So it could be temperature, maybe they're cool or warm. Maybe they're moist or dry. Maybe there's some sensations, tingling, or there's some pain somewhere. So just really feel into the sensation of the palms of your hands and notice. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you to switch your attention down to your feet. And the same sort of thing. Just check out the sensations. Now that your attention is down there, what do you notice? Are they cool? Are they warm? Maybe you're barefoot and you can feel the air. Maybe you have some aches or pains in your feet. Okay, great. So now just open your eyes. So not a big deal, right? We moved our attention from our hands to our feet. But check it out. In a sense, it's like what I was talking about when I said, can we just move our attention from states of mind? Can we just move our attention quickly? So obviously for the sensations in our bodies, we moved it fairly quickly from our hands to our feet. Okay, so we have the capacity to move our attention to different places quickly sometimes. Now, what if I asked you to bring your attention to your spleen? It's an organ in your body. What might you say? Seems a little harder, right? So when I ask the classroom, when I'm in class, I ask them what makes it harder. And some of the answers I've gotten as well, I don't know where the spleen is. I honestly don't know. It's an organ somewhere in your body. Or that it runs in the background without much sensation, so we don't know where it feels. We haven't had access to that sensation. So those are all completely true. And there's another reason too, though. The reason is that we don't feel it very often, right? So we're always bringing attention to our hands and our feet when we're asked to use them all day. So if we pick up an object, we have to know where our hands are in order to hold that object correct. If we need to know, pay attention to our feet so we don't fall down when we start to walk and stand up. So we're consciously or unconsciously bringing our attention to our hands and our feet all the time. In that sense, we know where they are and we can bring our attention to them quick. So in our spleen, we don't know where it is. We don't have a lot of experience with that. So it's harder to find it and harder to bring our attention there. And just so you know, there was a student I had that said that she did have spleen issues and she knew exactly where her spleen was. So goes to show you. So she actually, it kind of proves my point because she actually had to bring her attention to her spleen because of pain or, you know, her issues. And so she knew exactly where it was and when it was working or not working. Again, the point being that the more times, the more often we bring our attention to something, the easier it is to find, right? The more often we bring our attention to places in our body, the easier it is to find. Well, the same thing is like our emotion, our states of mind, right? The more often we bring our attention to those states of mind, the easier they're going to be to find. So it would be like having all your emotional apps on your phone. So let me just share this with you. Sorry. Okay. So here's a phone, or let's say your kind of your emotional landscape with the apps that are, most apps are sad or upset or worried. So it would be like if you brought your attention more to those states of mind, this is kind of what the landscape of your phone would be. And you can see like on the bottom, those apps that, you know, stay there permanently. They're like angry, scary, sad, worried, tornado mixed up, right? And of course you still have some smiles and some positive things, but for the most part, what's easier for you to find is the negatives because they're right on the front of your phone, which means you bring your attention to them more. So we all have some unproductive mental habits. I know for me, I tend to watch too much news, although in this pandemic, I've decided not to, because I know that I don't want that app on the front of my phone. Like, I don't want the scared thing to be able to open up quickly. I read too much politics and Facebook when my relatives are arguing. For some reason, there it is. We all have those. Maybe we watch a lot of scary movies, whatever. We all have some unproductive mental habits. But if we go to them more often, if we're bringing our attention to states of, like, I have fear of math there, or sadness, or feeling crappy, that's what's going to be front and center for us. And that's where we're going to go eat faster, right? But if we decide to change that, to bring our attention to some positive states, like forgiveness, kindness, generosity, hope, those types of states, and we practice that often, they'll be the ones that are on the front of the phone. They'll be the ones we can access faster. So it doesn't mean, and again, you see the anger and the tornado and those types of things, doesn't mean that those don't show up, but it means that we have quicker access. We know how to find the gratitude quick, and we can turn that on and then feel better quicker. So I hope this was helpful. And what we're going to do is, in the next video, is going to be a practice for a kindness practice, and so that we can have access to kindness easier. And the more we practice it, the more front and center on our phone it'll be, and the easier we can click it and open it up and have it running when we need it. Okay, thank you.